I'm Troy Kirby with a quick look at the 2022 Washington State legislative session. On day 2, Governor Inslee laid out his agenda for the 2022 legislative session, including combating homelessness, COVID-19, and budget issues. The Republicans, in the minority in both chambers for the past 2 decades, provided their response.
Good afternoon and welcome Washingtonians to a critical year in the state of Washington. For our state, we know that every day of this legislative session is going to be an opportunity to make good on our commitments and to change the course of our future for the better. Since I've had the honor of being governor, we've implemented one of the best paid family leave programs in the country. We've provided significant new funds to schools under McCleary. We've passed the best environmental justice legislation in the nation and passed the Fair Start for Kids Act to protect childcare options. Over the last year, I've met people experiencing homelessness across our state, in Tacoma, Moses Lake, Walla Walla, Seattle, and Spokane. And we have seen what works to improve people's lives, a private place to live with a sense of dignity. We simply have to provide rapid, supported housing as soon as possible this year. We also, I think, realize we need more opportunities for everyone when it comes to housing itself. We know students have lost opportunities during remote learning, despite the incredible efforts of our educators. Now, to keep schools open, we have to invest more to deal with COVID and address learning opportunity loss. Young people in foster care and their families also have been uniquely impacted by the pandemic, so we offer $80 million to pay providers more for housing and support foster youth with complex needs, to help young people transition out of foster care or juvenile justice to a successful future. Climate change is not merely a graph on a slide deck with an arrow pointed at calamity. It's found in the eyes of the people who saw floods go through their windows in Everson last month, and the evacuees who returned to see the charred ruins of their homes in Malden, or the people in the Colville tribes who lost 600,000 acres of commercial timber to wildfires. This was reaffirmed in November at the COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland, where I led a coalition of 68 state and local governments to commit to drastically reduce emissions. Together, we're charting a path to fight climate change by cutting greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030 and to get to net zero by 2050.
While I think we can all agree that the executive branch must have a certain amount of latitude to act in desperate times, I also believe that it's well past time to move away from emergency rule. We need to return to the rule of law, where each of our 3 branches of government fulfill their constitutional mandate to serve as a check and a balance on the other so that no branch has an exceeding amount of power over the other. Drug overdoses have increased 50% in the last 5 years. Fentanyl is killing our loved ones, and I'm sure many of you know someone who's been affected by the plague of addiction that is gripping our state. We must fix parts of the police reform bills that were passed last year so that law enforcement can once again enforce the law in a responsible manner.
Thank you for watching the 2022 Washington State legislative session.